Hello folks, I'm South Jersey Sam and welcome to another rendition of From the Fans. For those of you who don't remember, this is a segment where I look over various fanfiction and fan art based off of cartoons and shows and whatever. With that said, let's talk about Digimon. As I said in my Top 13 Best Foxes review, I mentioned that I was a fan of the show growing up, mainly from watching the first two seasons. The other seasons, however, were not as good in my opinion. It's not because of the new characters, but how they would digivolve the Digimon, how they would merge with their human partners, how the digital world was different. It was just hard to fathom. I mean, imagine if they made numerous changes like that to other shows like Dragon Ball Z or any other popular anime. It would suck! Despite those nitpicks, the series was still good and has a large fanbase to back it up. One fan managed to make his own fanfiction series with the help of a friend. That fan is Hewy Toonmore himself, Logan Reidenbaugh, with his fanfic series, Digimon Heroes. Now, I promised Huey that I would do an episode about his fanfic series, but instead of going over a few chapters of the story, I thought I would just talk about the story itself, the characters and Digimon involved, how this series is handled compared to the TV series, and many other topics to discuss. Before I go on, I think I should point out to those who follow me on DeviantArt. You may notice that I am a co-founder of his Digimon Heroes group. The reason is because, like him, I'm a Digimon fan. Plus, he also asks my help with critiquing his artwork and others trying to post their artwork on the group page. I do this because, well, the story is actually pretty good. It has a good storyline to go with, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the story itself. The story takes place in New York City, which is a pretty decent idea. It shows that events like these can and should take place anywhere other than Japan, which is where the TV series itself took place. My only problem is the location. I don't mind that it takes place in America, but I feel as if it should take place somewhere else, like maybe Chicago or Philadelphia. But that's just me nitpicking. In the story, we have many characters that would become digidestined. Robert, the leader, Chris, a goth kid, Joey, Robert's younger brother, Jermaine, Joey's friend, Ava, Robert's girlfriend, and a couple of others like Mike, Kevin, and Riksu. The interesting thing about the characters is that some of them are created by other DeviantArt users. Chris belongs to Chris CHJ, Mike belongs to Ant W Dragon, Kevin belongs to O Jeebus, and Riksu belongs to Heartless 2 Core. I assume that these are fans of the story that wanted to have their characters in the story itself, but that's just my guess. So how about the Digimon? How do they meet our heroes? Well, it turns out the younger brother, Joey, finds a strange CD in school and decides to bring it home and use it on his brother's computer. When he places it inside, it causes the computer to crash and later explode like hell. What became an explosion resulted in Digimon walking the earth. Some would find their destined partners, while others would attack it, big shocker. Like Season 3, Digimon can be brought down from the digital world. They are brought in through the digital gate, which was opened thanks to the CD used. One of the first Digimon we meet is Renamon, who becomes Robert's partner. And as I had mentioned in my Best Foxes list, she plays off similar to the Renamon from the Season 3 series, but having a bit more fun and being less serious at times. And like the third season, she digivolves into her other forms, Kyubimon and Teomon. However, as you can see, the design of Sakuyamon has changed dramatically from the story, and it changes once more once she digivolves into Omni-Renamon. Now that is badass. The next Digimon that appears is Vmon, who is basically like the Vmon from Season 2, goofy and happy. He would become Mike's partner in the story. His digivolution is different from the second season, as he digivolves to X-Vmon, then Flamedramon, then Magnamon. Different than what Season 2 did, but still not a bad idea. Next is a new Digimon created by Chris CHJ called Angelomon, Chris's partner, who looks like a small dog with wings. Really weird. There's also his Digivolutions, his champion form, plus Angelomon, and no, I'm not making that up, his ultimate form, Doggermon, and his mega form, Alexandermon. The designs of each Digivolution are actually well designed, better than what I was expecting. There is also Eva's Digimon, Salamon, who digivolves into Gatomon, then Anjouamon, then Ophanimon, who I don't think was ever used on the show, but I could be wrong. Next is Germain's Digimon, Comandramon, who appears to be a Digimon that has been on the trading cards, but I don't think ever made it on the show. He digivolves into his champion form, Sealsdramon, then his ultimate form, Tankdramon, and finally his mega form, Darkdramon. And yet I don't think either of them have made it on any of the series. Certainly not the first 2 seasons. The next is Black Agumon, Kevin's partner. Now, if you know about the regular Agumon's Digivolution, then you're not missing much. Black Greymon, Black Metal Greymon, and Black Warmon. Enough said. Then there's Joey's Digimon, Lopmon, who actually started off in the story as her ultimate form, Antilamon. Both of these Digimon have appeared in the anime, as well as the Digimon movies. However, she has a new mega form, Lepumon. The design is very interesting, a good warrior look. And finally, there's Rixu's Digimon, Monodramon, who digivolves into his ultimate form, Cyberdramon, and his mega form, Justamon, all in which have appeared in the TV series. The group manages to get help from the military after their Digimon save them from an evil Digimon attack. The military is led by General Stanford, who I swear looks so familiar.
5 years ago, I lost 30,000 men in the blink of an eye. And the world just fucking watched. Tomorrow, there will be no shortage of volunteers. No shortage of patriots. I know you understand.
It's kinda sad that I used that joke for this episode. I need to go out more often. Now let's talk about the villains of the series. The main villain of the series is a Digimon known as Superimon, who has taken over the digital world with his own army and subordinates, most in which have appeared on the series. Myotismon, Lady Devimon, Karatenmon, Mummymon, Indramon, Pajiramon, Vajramon, Piedmon, Volpamon, who is more of a clone, bizarre version of Renamon, Chaosdramon, and Ardukenimon. Now what I find interesting about the series are the references. What do I mean by this? Well, let's look at the first chapter. Here we get a confrontation between a pimp and a cop. The pimp is pissed about getting a ticket, then pulls a gun out on him, which causes the officer to pull a gun out too. The pimp is then distracted by Parrotmon flying around and attacking. Now, I didn't know what this was about at first, but after watching James Rolfe's Godzilla-thon review, I noticed that the moment came from the film Godzilla Final Wars, which was done in a similar manner. The story also makes references to the original series.
You're grounded, Goldilocks! Black Wing! You broke it! Oh, send me the bill. Did you see that?
No, I was sleeping.
But you're driving!
What's even more interesting is that there is a full chapter involving a Digimon found inside the internet all over the world, causing trouble throughout the web. This is like an homage to the second story in Digimon the movie, because it follows a similar storyline, but at the same time, it goes for something slightly different. To me, it's a good chapter. In fact, there are a couple of good chapters. Some involve battles against Superimon's generals, others are involved with the Digidestined and their Digimon, and many other good storylines. I will talk more about each storyline, but it's so good that I shouldn't spoil it. Overall, Hewy's Digimon Heroes is certainly worth reading. There's a lot of good story, character development, and action to the series, which would also help make up the sequel, Digimon Heroes 2.0, which takes place years after the events of the first story, and has new members to add to the group and new foes to face. So I can definitely say that this story has a lot of potential. With that, I give it a high rating of 5 feather pens out of 5. Well folks, that's all for now. Until next time, I'm South Jersey Sam, and I'll catch you all later.